Hello, everyone. Dr. Jack Wolfson, cardiologist. Great to be here on day number 6 of Happy Heart Month. Hope you are all doing fantastic. Again, so happy to be here. Dr. Jack Wolfson, board certified cardiologist. Throw your questions in there. Say hello. Come on in. Comments. Again, fantastic to have you all inside of here. The Natural Heart Doctor group. It is Happy Heart Month. It is day number 6. Welcome to everyone. It is a Sunday morning. I hope it's wonderful wherever you are. It is chilly, to say the least, where I'm at in Colorado, but we're going to hit probably 35 and sunny, and it'll be fantastic. Again, I'm Dr. Jack Wolfson, board certified cardiologist. Welcome to our live today. Also, we're going to be sending out the recordings, as you know. This is Happy Heart Month. We are on day number 6 of 28 days, giving you 28 days of tips and information from the team at Natural Heart Doctor. So again, I appreciate all of you being here. Don't forget to record the word of the day. The word of the day is what you put into your document, and then you send that in to us at the end of the month. Let us know how you did, and then therefore you will get a $50 gift card to Natural Heart Doctor and also be eligible for one of 3 grand prizes, which is the triple toxin test. The metals, molds, and environmental toxins, and you get the review with Dr. Lauren Latanza. Again, the triple toxin test, 20 different metals, 40 different environmental toxins, 40 different mold mycotoxins. Fantastic, fantastic test. And you need that information. And that really pertains to today's topic, which is about water. We're going to talk about water. A lot of debate about water, a lot of misconceptions about water. I'll be sharing with you, my opinions in just a couple of moments as we get more people to log on. Jump in. Laura's in the house. Laura, Allie, Shelly, Sheila. Great to see everybody. And Laura Rosser, yes, the replay should be coming out. Yesterday was Ashley Swanson, and Ashley, of course, just crushed it with her topics regarding the Paleo Pyramid. So check that out. Good morning from Kansas City. Yes, yes, yes. I know who you are. Great to see you. And chilly in Texas too. Allie Richmond, you poor thing. You may have to put on a light sweater, huh? Let's see. Elaine's in the house. Karen's in Dallas. Lots of Texas represented. So fantastic. All right, listen, I want to jump into it. Today's conversation is all about water. And you know this. We are water. By volume, we are 70% water, 30% protein and fats and other structural molecules in our body, but we are 70% water as far as volume. But as far as the molecules in our body, the H2O molecules, upwards of 98% of the molecules in our body are H2O. So again, there's all other kind of proteins, but because those H2O molecules are so small that by weight it's only 70%, but again, by the number of molecules, it's up there in the high 90s. So understanding that we are water, it makes us think, well, what is the best water for us to drink? So I'm going to dive into some of that about the best water to drink, certainly talk about what not to drink, and then at the end I'll talk about the best water in the world for you to get that we've been using in our home for years and years and years. Our new office will have the water system built into there as well. Now, as far as what we talked about, that we are 70% water, and we talked about our molecules are 98% water in our body. Where are all these water molecules coming from? Are they coming from the water that we drink, from the foods that we eat, like celery and cucumber, watermelon, those water-dense foods? Or does the body make the water? So I guess that's a rhetorical question, unless you want to answer that to me. The reality is that our bodies make over 2/3 of the water inside of our mitochondria, inside of those fuel factories, inside of every cell, thousands and thousands and thousands of the mitochondria inside of our heart muscle cells, because the mitochondria take food and take oxygen and create water and carbon dioxide. The water we keep, the carbon dioxide we breathe off. So remember, food and oxygen together will therefore turn into carbon dioxide and water. Now, all that water that is made, it's inside the cells. It bathes all the molecules, all the proteins inside of the cells. So if we think again about this, a cell, and we think about a cell as a basketball, well, inside of that basketball, the majority of that is water, and it's bathing all, again, of our nucleus, our DNA, our RNA, the proteins, the molecules that are responsible for transportation, reproduction, all these different things that, again, that intracellular water is so critical. So it's probably more important, definitely more important actually, that we do the things necessary to have good quality intracellular water, and that is the key. So how do we do that? Again, that's where the basics. Seafood, sleep, sunshine, give the body what it needs, take away what it doesn't, and that's how we build that high quality intracellular water. So with that in mind, well, the other third of the water that comes into our bodies, that's the stuff that we drink and that we eat. And certainly it is fantastic to eat water-based foods, celery and cucumbers and all those green leafy vegetables, the fruits. Those are all very water-dense molecules. This time of year, navel oranges, organic navel oranges. I love the navel oranges. They're absolutely delicious, and I do eat those, and I love, again, that satiating feeling of those. Avocado is in a good amount of water. Now, as it pertains to animal products, animal foods, eggs, liver, heart, muscle meats, the seafood, those again are not necessarily high in water, good water sources for us, but what those do, again, they provide the food that goes with the oxygen and is the best source of intracellular water, so remember that. So as it pertains to, again, the water that we drink, it's often been said, and I've been guilty of this as well, as far as, drink your half your body weight in ounces daily. The reality is that there's not good literature to support that. In fact, there are plenty of studies that show that, consuming too much water is a problem. Certainly the quality of the water we'll talk about in a minute, and of course that matters. But I think those recommendations about drinking too much water are a problem. And even myself, I've revised a lot of what I said over the years. Listen, I'm always learning just like you. I'm always looking to get better just like you. The reality is we probably don't need as much water as we think. Certainly we should drink when we're thirsty. But outside of that, I think it's pretty unclear as to how much water. But if you're going to be drinking water, obviously you can cook with water. You can put water in your coffee, water in your tea. There's water in juices. Then we have to make sure that it is the most quality water available. I think the other situation where we probably want to drink more water is in the situation of when we're detoxing, when we're doing some kind of a detoxification program, or if we're actively losing a lot of weight. Then we want to make sure we take good quality water to make sure we're flushing out those toxins. But again, the idea that drinking a lot of water helps you lose weight, that has been proven false. The idea that drinking water can help with your blood pressure or cholesterol, again, there's no strong data for that whatsoever. And ultimately, we want to drink when we're thirsty, drink quality water. That is really what the key is. So at this time, again, I do want to, let's see if we can do a little share screen here. Settings, interactivity. How can I do a share screen in this live? I had the ability to do a share screen before, and I'm not seeing it right now on this live here. Viewer, stream. All right, it looks like I'm not able to figure out the share screen on here. Hey everybody, I'm certainly very apologetic that the sound is coming in very low. It must be obviously my microphone here. And I'm not able to do a share screen that I can see here on this. Because I do, again, I want to be able to show you the share screen, and maybe again I can re-record this so you can get some better visualization on this, people. Anybody on my team? Much better right now. Good. Even with the earphones, I'll have to watch the replay later. Why can I not find the share screen in this format? It seems like every time I choose a different format, there's always some kind of problem with it. Nope, nope, no. Let's see if it's in the dashboard. Sorry, guys. I am not able to do a share screen at this moment. So I'll just kind of talk us through what as it pertains to the drinking water. Because again, here's the problem. When you start with the drinking water, you need to make sure that it's quality water. There's so much poison that is inside of water, whether it's from a municipal system or it's from a well. You got to make sure that you're drinking clean water. Because if you think about all of the sources of pollution, obviously from the air pollution, from the pesticides that they're using, from toxic metals, from industrial wastes, what's coming out of landfills, people flushing prescription pharmaceuticals down the toilet, when they urine or when they urinate or have a bowel movement, the prescription drugs are getting into the water system. And if you think that the government agencies are watching out for us, they're not. And again, the copper, the lead pipes, the plastics that are in the piping for water, it all becomes a problem. And in addition to what we're directly drinking, obviously the food that we eat. What kind of water are they using to grow the cucumbers and the broccoli and the lettuce? What kind of water are they using to feed and nourish the animals that we eat? All of that stuff gets into the animal and into the food, and then we consume it. The Minnesota Department of Health, glyphosate in drinking water, they have a report, and then they conclude, based on available information, guidance value of 500 parts per billion for glyphosate in drinking water. So essentially they're saying there's a certain amount of glyphosate that's safe in drinking water, and I would postulate and tell you that that is not true whatsoever. Again, people with the highest level of pesticides have the highest cardiovascular risk, highest risk of atrial fibrillation, coronary artery disease, congestive heart failure, you name it. And what we do know, again, is that the more tap water someone drinks, the more pesticides that they're consuming, the more chemicals that they're consuming. That's from the journal Environmental Research in 2020. We can see here chemicals like perchlorate, which is another pesticide, how that is linked to cardiovascular disease. People with pyrethroid pesticides, and I'm just focusing on pesticides. Again, there's so many different things that are in the water. People with the highest level of a certain pesticide called pyrethroids or 3-PBA, that everybody has some of which, the highest group, 3 times the rate of cardiovascular death. According to research, the Environmental Working Group, they're in Arizona, you're able to search by the area. In Arizona, out of 8 in 20 contaminants in Phoenix, Arizona, arsenic levels were over 1,200 times where they should be. Chromium were 20 times, haloacetic acids 121 times, nitrate 16 times, radium was 2 times, all these other chemicals that are in the water that are all dangerous. And in fact, there's an article that came from 2014. More than 2,400 chemicals are found in bottled water, and one of those, of course, is BPA, which is the chemical that is in plastic. And so when you're drinking out of plastic bottles, we got to make sure we don't do that. By the way, BPA in plastic is linked to cardiovascular disease. It's also linked to severe COVID, FYI. Now, there is a company that actually can test your water, and you can order a different test depending on where you're at. And the company is called TapScore. So you can go to naturalheartdoctor.com/mytapscore, and I'll put that into the comments section so you can see that. Put that into here, boom, got that there. So that's, if you want to get your water tested, that we've done that. That is the best company to be able to do so. And what we found from them is that, again, like they have different levels of testing that you can do, some of which, again, have hundreds of tests in there. Those are the most expensive. But for $169, you can also get a really good cursory look at your particular exposure. So again, naturalheartdoctor.com/mytapscore is where you will go. My favorite drinking water is as far as like bottled water. I only time I drink out of plastic is if I'm traveling and there's nothing else available in an airport. Otherwise, we do love San Pellegrino water, unflavored San Pellegrino. It is very high in sulfur, and sulfur helps to make glutathione. You all know how important glutathione is, and sulfur is the main detoxification molecule, and also, again, it goes into glutathione, so you want to check that out. So the system that we recommend really on our website, naturalheartdoctor.com/water, you can check that out. And we have a discounted price for everybody on this call, and that particular product is from Pristine Hydro. So Pristine Hydro goes through a 10-step purification process where, again, they pull out all of the bad, and then they add the good back in. They add back the magnesium, potassium, sodium, calcium, and then they oxygenate and run the water through river rock and lodestone. It becomes naturally alkaline the right way. So that is the system we've been using for several years from Pristine Hydro. So that's what you want to check out. They've got under-the-counter models. They've also got travel models as well. Again, we're happy to support you on whatever you need for the water we've been using for years. Our new office actually is going to have the Pristine water system built into the front area. So whenever you come in to enjoy water or tea or coffee, we'll be able to make that for you with the Pristine Hydro water. You change out the filter every couple of years. It's very simple. The system is installed by a plumber, so expect to spend a couple $100 on that. And for that, we've knocked a couple $100 off the price of the Pristine Hydro system. So essentially for about $2,000, you have got one of the best water systems available. There's other things you can do. Obviously, there's plain reverse osmosis. There's different filtration systems that can be used. There's a lot of different things. But again, you want to make sure you're using something and you're not just drinking tap water. You're not just drinking well water. Again, when in doubt, get your water tested and see where things are at. Most likely, it's just unfortunate you're going to benefit from having filtered quality water, and that's where the Pristine Hydro water system comes in. So, anywho, that is really the story for today. I apologize for not being able to do a share screen. I thought that you could, and then you couldn't. So there you are. There I am. Got a lot of people on the call. Happy to answer any questions. Today's day number 6. Happy Heart Month. Oh, by the way, the word of the day today, a lot of you probably are waiting on that as well. The word of the day today, one of my favorites, is freedom. Freedom, freedom, freedom. It's a world, again, where we need to be free to have our thoughts about health and wellness. The more freedom we give up, the more decide what is right for us. They'll decide on our diet, they'll decide on our water, they'll decide on our pharmaceuticals, they'll decide on our housing, they'll decide on our cars, they'll decide on everything. And I guess if you're in agreement with the power makers, the rule makers, if you're in total agreement with them on every single thing, then I guess you're in good company. But if you don't support the message of freedom, you never know what they're going to be trotting out next. So you may agree with mandates and restrictions now, but you may not agree with what's coming next. So remember, the word of the day is freedom. Today is day number 6 of the Happy Heart Month program. And again, we're going to be going live tomorrow with, tomorrow is going to be fantastic. I think that Carrington Beecham is going to be on tomorrow talking about fasting. So again, I appreciate anybody and everybody for being on today. I apologize for any technical difficulties. We'll see if we can send out a better copy of this going forward. Have a great Sunday, everybody. Be well.